Happy Thanksgiving month, everybody, and Tony here with my review of Mozart's Die Zauberflöte with conductor Anna Handler, which I saw at the Deutsche Oper Berlin. This marks the 11th time I caught Gunther Kremer's production of Mozart's Die Zauberflöte at the Deutsche Oper Berlin because one, Jonas Wuermeling, one of the chorus singers of the Deutsche Oper Berlin, gave me a free ticket, and two, Padraic Rowan was going to sing Papageno once again. I've been watching Padraic Rowan's career grow for over 2 years. I first caught him as Pietro from Verdi's Simon Boccanegra, also the Deutsche Oper Berlin, and I have been appreciating the growth and the strength and virility he was continuously defined by. And I've always loved his characterization of Papageno, both vocally and dramatically. His virility found in his trademark bass baritone voice slash baritone voice, which also had that roundness and richness and really fine volume, made me thoroughly impressed with what future he had, and his future continuously looks brighter and brighter than ever. When listening to Padraic Rowan's voice a lot more, it kind of reminds me of an amalgamation of Walter Berry and Hermann Prey, who are two of my most favorite Papagenos of all time. In fact, there's something that is genuinely a lot more baritonal about Padraic Rowan's voice, and that depth, that richness and roundness, and that virility made him thoroughly amazing as a singing actor. And I salute Padraic Rowan as a singing actor in terms of everything he had to offer, as well as providing the viewers a great time with a whole lot of fun, and of course, excellent musicianship. Kieran Carell was fine and absolutely dandy as always as Tamino. He continues to grow really well in terms of his voice. It's not that nasal anymore. It's not that constricted sounding. In fact, he had moments where he was blooming so well. Sure, there were times that his emission is still on the masky side, and even though I still prefer the great tenors such as Fritz Wunderlich or Walter Ludwig, or even Peter Schreier as my personal favorite Taminos, or even Peter Hofmann, who I actually love a lot more as Tamino than a lot of his Wagnerian endeavors, I could still salute Kieran Carell for his fine musicianship, as well as his overall diligence and that youthfulness that he still managed to provide as Tamino. Burkhard Ulrich continues to strike up the band so exceedingly well as the second priest, all thanks to his trademark character tenor voice, and Thomas Chalufo continues to steal the show as Monostatos, all thanks to his sterling musicianship, absolutely amazingly produced voice that managed to have that ring and sheen all the way through, and that brilliance that made him thoroughly grand as one of the finest tenors I have been listening to thus far. And his performance, both vocally and theatrically, as Monostatos is no exception whatsoever. Tobias Kira was still as virile, strong, and handsome as Zarastro. Volodymyr Morozov was handsome and round and rich as the second armed man. Joel Allison actually grew in depth, roundness, strength, and richness as the speaker of the temple, to the point where I was absolutely astounded. Benjamin Dickerson was noble and absolutely dashing as the first priest, all thanks to his fine, noble, and absolutely dashing bass baritone slash baritone voice. And Myung-won Kim was thoroughly grand as the first armed man, all thanks to his piercing full lyric slash spinto tenor voice that just soared over the orchestra with such brilliance and sheen. Striking again as the Queen of the Night was Hye-Young, who continued to be just as brilliant, sparkling, and absolutely wonderful as ever. I've been watching her in this role for over 2 years, and she managed to still deliver the goods with her top notes and, of course, her absolutely commanding stage presence, which she managed to nail so exceedingly well. Nina Solodovnikova continued to grow in strength, brilliance, and richness as Pamina. Sure, she could still continue to use a lot more chestiness and use a lot more chest voice, but her characterization of Pamina has definitely grown in charisma, charm, beauty, and a whole lot of femininity, to the point where I thoroughly salute Miss Solodovnikova for such a wonderful job. Michot Marrero was the absolute show stealer among the women as Papagena, a role that she had been singing for several years, and she continues to emit youth, beauty, sparky charm, and that lovability that made her thoroughly brilliant. In fact, I'd even argue that Michot Marrero's career does seem to parallel that of Kathleen Battles, to the point where I would actually love to hear and see Michot Marrero as Gilda, Oscar, Nanette, Rosina from Barbieri di Siviglia, Marie from La Fille de Regiment, Adina, Norina, and all those wonderful roles suitable for her voice. Oh, and especially Blondchen from Die Entführung aus dem Serail. Those roles are definitely tailor-made for Michot Marrero, and her performance as Papagena shows continuous brilliance and continuous charm. The absolutely amazing vocal work by Florina Stucki, Karis Tucker, and Stephanie Wake Edwards as the three ladies was absolutely wonderful, all thanks to Florina Stucki's silvery lyric soprano voice, Karis Tucker's mezzo-soprano voice continuously growing in depth and richness, and Stephanie Wake Edwards stealing the show, all thanks to her round, rich mezzo-soprano voice that just grew in chestiness and brilliance. And the three soloists of the Tölzer Knabenchor were absolutely lovely as the three boys. So overall, the singing was absolutely wonderful all around. Special kudos really has to go to Padraic Rowan for his continuously amazing job as Papageno. And I also have to salute all of the soloists tonight for continuously doing such amazing job in their respective roles. The conducting done by Anna Handler was balanced and brilliant. At times, it almost reminds me of an amalgamation of Herbert von Karajan in terms of his lushness, and this was also what she was able to emit in the overture, and a little bit of Karl Böhm as well in terms of the nuance. Sure, she did kind of overdo it with some of the brass segments, but other than that, I still think she did an amazing job in leading the orchestra and chorus, and I would definitely love to see her grow in a lot more nuance, focus, and clarity. And what more can you expect from the chorus and the orchestra of the Deutsche Oper Berlin? They were absolutely brilliant, especially the chorus, and I still have to salute Jonas Wuermeling for also being one of the finest assets in terms of not only the tenors, but also in terms of the entire chorus of the Deutsche Oper Berlin. So overall, Mozart's Die Zauberflöte, starring Padraic Rowan as Papageno, was thoroughly grand all the way through, and I continue to salute Jonas Wuermeling for the free ticket he provided for me, and this was such a grand evening for opera. And for those of you who caught this production of Mozart's Die Zauberflöte at the Deutsche Berlin, what'd you think of it? Did you feel that Padraic Rowan was absolutely amazing as Papageno? Was there another singer who stole his thunder? Or did you feel like the singing was not really to your liking? Please let me know in the comments below. Well, that's it for my review of Mozart's Die Zauberflöte, starring Padraic Rowan as Papageno. Tune in next time for another review. So until then, happy Thanksgiving month, everybody.